Hey, what's up YouTube? Here is David or DB. Welcome back again to another Wuthering Ways video. I'm here with my four penguin friends, and today I'm going to be showing you guys, or more talking about, resource management in Wuthering Waves and how to go about it, especially for free-to-play players, how to efficiently manage your resources and what to prioritize and when to prioritize it. So this is going to be a kind of free format video. It's going to be a lot more informational. I'll be going through menus rather than actually playing the game. So you can even just listen to the video while I talk about it. It's again directed to newer players who don't have the most amount of resources and need to focus everything they have, basically. And let's get started with the video. So the first thing you got to understand, you need to focus on building two teams. Whatever two teams you're building, that is going to be your main priority, and that's where we're going to pull in all of the resources. Uh, if I go into my characters, for example, and we're gonna go over this team as an example. So I have Amy's, I have Lene, and I have Chisa on the team, and building them will be expensive overall. Here's how to approach it as a free-to-play player and a new player, and if you're building them from scratch. So the priority of leveling up is your level, your weapon, then your traces, and at the very end your echoes. The leveling of the levels, you can get away leveling your character to 80, because 80 to 90 is nearly as expensive, if not more, than getting your character from 0 to 80, if that makes sense. So if you're a free-to-play player, you can manage your resources by not putting them to 90 unless you really want to, and eventually putting them to 90. But that small difference in damage, I'm not going to say it's insignificant, because obviously every number matters in this game, but I think you could be able to get away with that. Same thing with your weapon, but I would probably prioritize maxing your weapon overall, because your weapon is interchangeable item. So your weapon you're able to put onto different characters throughout the game, so it's a very worthwhile investment, especially if it's a sword or a gun, you know what I mean? Going into your traces, you can level things to up to 6, I believe, before you need the weekly resources. Once you need weekly resources for your characters, that's when you're going to start grinding and heavily focusing on some of the characters. My advice for you, max out your DPS. Your main damage dealer must be maxed out as much as you possibly can, because you're trying to abuse them from the perspective of damage, basically. The only character you could slack off to save and manage your resources would be your healers or your supports. I max out my characters because I play this game forever. But if you're maxing your characters, for example, Shorekeeper, you could get away with not maxing your basic attack to a certain degree. You could get away, for example, same thing on, what's her name, Verena, sorry. You could get away with not maxing their basics, you could get away with not maxing certain abilities. It is very character dependent, and it's very team dependent as well. So be a little bit careful how you max them, but you don't have to max them. Finally, for your echoes, here is my tip. Whenever you build echoes, because echoes are grindable infinitely, you can kill them and you can infinitely grind them. There's no stop. You can join someone else's world and grind them even further. When you're upgrading an echo, for example, I will grab, for example, Sigrika. Let's do suggested. I probably have something here already for her. And so crit damage, cool. I want to upgrade this piece. I will always upgrade by step. I will never ever fully upgrade it. If you fully upgrade a piece and all these tunes are bad, that is a huge amount of resources wasted. I'll press add step, I'll upgrade. Now I will go into the tuning and tune it once. I get crit damage, which is insane. That's very good. If I get HP, personally, I will scrap the piece. I will leave it there and I will move on, because I can again go farm him, get another crit damage piece, and then try it again, and I get crit damage again, let's say, and then I get crit rate on my second attempt, Obviously, it's all gambling and all luck, and there's a lot of grinding, a lot of grinding. But I am saving these 3 slots of resources because they get more expensive the more you upgrade them. But by the time I guarantee my crit damage and my crit rate, even though I maybe went through 40 of these people, for example, or maybe even more, all the other 3 stats doesn't really matter too much what I get because my main stats are gotten. Another advice is upgrade the first 2. And if you get crit rate or crit damage in the first 2, then continue with the piece. Because at least the piece is savable and okay at that point. Look, it's not a god piece like crit rate or crit damage. If you're really trying to save resources, you could do that. Or you could do the first 2. For example, I'll add this one because it's not a lot of resources you see. The first one was 5, this one is 5 and 2. And I tuned this one more and basically got damage. This is solid overall. But for example, instead of basic attack, I had defense, and instead of crit, I had HP. Scrap the piece. Don't risk it. Don't risk these expensive levels in hopes of getting the stat you want. Just get the stat that you want. Cool. This is where you can really micromanage, especially resources if you don't have a lot of them. Careful with this because the next thing where we're going to go over actually is between the traces and this. You might be like, okay, grind this, grind that. You don't realize how expensive money-wise upgrading your echoes is and upgrading your traces to the later levels. I might just try and see if I have someone nearly maxed. Like a 9 or something. Do I have someone on a 9? 7 and 9. 100,000. It will cost me 100,000 for each. I'm pretty sure they all cost the same. I could be wrong. But this is just like an example. The last level will cost you 100,000. A weekly material and gold pieces. So managing money is crucial, crucial, crucial. How do you manage your money? Let's say you're a person who does pulls and you pull for characters and you have a lot of spare resources. When you have these spare resources, here is what I prioritize overall, let's say. Within the Afterglow Coral, and again, a whale can spend whatever they want. What I would prioritize as a free-to-play player, specifically you need characters and need weapons. So Radiant Tide and Forging Tide will never be a bad choice. Never. Personally, because I don't like it, I guess, I never go for these more expensive ones in general because I like the flexibility of being able to pull, and I don't really look for like, E1s, E2s, E whatever. So whatever this is, I'm just not interested. When I get the character and I get their weapon, I'm just happy. I don't care afterwards. These are the biggest focuses for your resource when it comes to this Afterglow Coral. Don't never get this. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it in my opinion. For the second coral, like you see, which I already did, your priority is again the pulls. But for this currency, I wouldn't mind too much you getting the lustrous tide as well. It's also avoidable if you want. I get it because I did pull and I already ran out of these. Next up, you get the modifier because the modifier is really good. Next up, you get the XP, you get the weapon upgrade material, and you want to go for the energy as well, and you want to also go for money. If you really need these resources, I guess you can take them. In my eyes, they're a bit of a waste because this will be a bit harder to earn in the long run. Look, while you have the story, while you have the events, while you're new and you have the full world open to yourself, you have plenty of cash. But the later into the game goes and the more speed and like progress you want to make, this could be a good investment for yourself. But prioritize these 2 obviously, and prioritize all the upgrade materials, not for the characters though, because these are always grindable with energy. I want to go into my backpack now. Where the hell is my backpack? Weapons. So we went over the weapons. Upgrade materials is very important. This will go really quick the second you start getting more weapons. Maxing your weapons to 90 is worth it because again, these are, you can use them across multiple characters. Echoes. You're going to be having a lot of echoes. You're going to be farming the same echoes. Don't discard the 5-star echoes or the cost 4 echoes, basically the yellow ones. And don't blindly put them into other echoes. Take your time, read them, see what they do, see can they be saved or not. For example, this piece, a crit damage again, attack. I can change the defense and HP eventually down the road, and this could be a godly piece. Godly. This piece, for example, defense and attack, probably won't use it. Crit damage and attack, perhaps I'll use it, but what it is, it's for the healing. Maybe I won't use it. Maybe in this situation, actually, defense or HP would be better. Or energy regen. These are expensive. Even when you're farming them normally, don't waste them blindly. You just because you want to quickly level up certain things, don't just start dumping them into other ones, and don't dump high level echoes into other echoes. Again, save them in case down the line you might need them, because this is one of those games that certain stats you might never know, and you upgrade it even twice, and you got the wrong stats that you wanted, but down the line there's a new character that needs those specific stats, for example. But this is where your farming will begin. You can always, if you look into your booklet, go into here and go into yeah, this one. So you have two of them. You can do these daily and get a lot of them very quickly for free. And all the bosses you can farm daily, well, not even daily, you can just farm them endlessly basically, because they just keep respawning. So it's a very good idea to manage that correctly. Don't dump high level ones into other ones when upgrading your echoes. Rely on the material that you're given and grind the material. Tips for making money, as in your actual currency that you might, like I said, will run out. You're gonna need it. Exploration is actually massive. Not only you get the asteroids, you also get the currency, and you get a lot of little random stuff along the way. It is very important that you, at some point, you focus on your exploration. Again, you don't have to be a completionist and get everything 100%, but if you're lacking funds, always, the chest will be there. The different little events, mini games are there. Speaking of, do not skip them if you are free to play. Always finish them. Always look for the limited time rewards. And you play an event until you get the rewards. Doesn't matter if you can play it afterwards. Look, if you want to play it, play it. But if you're looking for resource management, you play it until you get all the rewards, because after that you don't need it. If you want, maybe there's an achievement, cool, play ahead. But resource-wise, you do not need it. Sometimes there are, I don't know if we have one, I think we have one now. Double chances, cool. You use the double drop chance whenever it's available as well, because you're simply, for the same price, getting double the rewards, whatever it's currently being dropped at, which again is super important. Next up, also, if we go into my backpack, just so I can show you guys, modifiers, modifiers, modifiers. If you have a lot of these, or if you are slowly grinding them and slowly have them, use them for your main DPS and use them for valuable characters. Don't waste these on support characters or sub DPSs. Personally, I think use them to really fine tune your main DPS, make sure they can clear the content, because your supportive characters, they can get away with not being maxed out fully. Your main characters, you should prioritize always getting them as tuned as you possibly can. So use the modifiers on the important characters, not just for any gritty character, because you won't be able to clear certain parts of the content as an endgame content if your main DPS is simply not keeping up. It's great that your sub DPS or your supports are insane, but if you can't clear fast enough, it's just a lose-lose situation. Quests. Next thing is quests. Quests are insanely good for money. You see, there's always something to be gained from the quest, and a very good lucrative amounts of money, of other resources. Going through this will accumulate a lot of resources very quickly. Maybe I shouldn't say quickly. As well as your daily quest will give you 3,000 every day. I know it's just 3,000, but do it a couple of times a month, or even do it every day a month. all of a sudden that's nearly 100k just there. Remember what I said earlier, leveling your last level on some of your characters will cost you 100k. So by maths, your daily quest, doing it for a month, is equivalent to nearly one skill. This should show you how rare some of these resources can be, and if you spend them aimlessly, you're gonna run out of them very quickly. For people who do want to spend a bit of money, the battle pass, wrong one, sorry. The battle pass is an insane investment for resources. You get so much stuff. Never buy the battle pass that like plus 20 levels. You will always finish the battle pass in time as long as you play weekly, and you don't have to worry about those extra levels. Those extra levels are just to tempt you and to be lazy and you think you're going to be ahead. As long as you just play the game regularly, you will be fine. Next thing resource wise is bundles, and I'm being very honest, unless you want to, again, the only two things you should ever consider spending on as like, you know, the cheapest possible, shouldn't say cheapest, is the Solvent 8 and the Lunite subscription. If you're a spender, Battle Pass and these two should be your way to go, because even maybe just one of them, this is huge progress, believe it or not. 60k, and you get 7 energies, which helps you build your character even faster. Standard bundles, I wouldn't personally be buying here anything. That's just me. I've never bought anything here in my life. I only buy these two mainly, and that's it, and I chill. Level bundles, you will be getting them as you level up. You see some pretty solid goodies eventually. Here I'm gonna hit 500,000 when I reach level 80. So doing your dailies and reaching your level to the max ASAP is also important. 74. I'm a bit off, but I will be nearly there. Finally, what I'll just talk about in this video is synthesis. Synthesizing your materials is a good thing. Converting your materials is a bad thing. If you ever go onto the character screen, for example, and let's try and find it. For example, I go into this, I go to this. Here's a good example. Here it tells me to convert, because some people click on it and go, oh cool, I'm able to do it. I press nice, because you think, oh, it doesn't say go, so it means you can actually do something with it. But you're converting this material into this material at a loss per material. You only ever convert if you've literally maxed out every single character that uses this specific material. You have abundance of it and you don't need it. Until then, just grind it normally. Keep this material in case you are building a different character in the future, because then you already have the material. Because the time spent from that wave plate when you grind for this material is basically the time you're waiting for that energy to regen is doubled, because whatever you've used now costs double to convert it. So because you convert it at a loss. So I wouldn't do that overall, personally. If you really want to, I'm obviously not stopping it, but it's just my guide on what you should or slash shouldn't do when you're managing your resources. Hopefully this was a bit of an insight, and hopefully you guys went through some of the menus. If you had any further questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'm going to be making a bit more guides as well. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to just follow me on Twitch. I'm currently streaming WoW, and I'm streaming every other game. And I'll be doing a lot of tutorials, and we're going to be doing a bunch, and I mean a bunch of videos. I'm going to back on YouTube slowly and steady. I'm not going to say daily uploads, but we'll see how it goes, and we'll go one day at a time and one video at a time. Thank you guys for watching. Take care and goodbye.